What's up, Mesa Falcons? Today's episode of the Covert Go podcast is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. Use the promo code CGBPod to show that you enjoy this type of content at checkout at CoolStuffInc.com. Now let's dive into it. Raren,
Hey.
hi.
Hey.
How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
You're so
I
ready
love
for
doing
this.
videos.
Do you like reading? Do you like reading cards?
I am known to read every once in a while when I do Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Yes.
Yeah, me too. Since we both love Yu-Gi-Oh videos so much, I am doing a video with you that is all about cards within cards that get more cards. So reading more cards to understand the card. And the objective will be very simple. Do you think these cards or strategies that you see and find within the cards, are they good? Was this good? Did this get played? That's what we're trying to figure out today. If you can take like 500 words of text and on various magic cards and figure out if they're playable, then you are the champion. You are the god of gaming.
Okay.
Easy.
Easy.
Not even a problem. All right. I hope you've never seen this card before. I really hope so. This should be fresh.
Okay. I will let. What the fuck is that name? Ixori? I'm sorry. Asmoranio Martic Diatistina Kulikar? What the? Can you say this full word? I just want to hear you say it.
Asmaranda Martica Diced in a Koldakar?
Shut up.
What? Is it hard?
I mean, that is,
dude.
You know when you were young and like the kids would be like, can you say like, what? Oh God, I can't remember the word anymore. Like extradilated something like that, on those lines.
Are you quoting Mary Poppins to me,
I don't
bro?
know. I've never seen Mary Poppins. That's what the kids used to say though.
Me either.
I'm just for the sake of my sanity, I'm just gonna call this Asmora. But
sure.
Why did they call this card? I guess I'm gonna read it. Hold on. This has no mana cost.
Yeah.
As long as you've discarded a card this turn, you may pay black and red or black or red.
Black or
red to cast this spell. So that means you can't just be like, I'm going to discard this card. You have to have another card that discards the card.
Correct.
Okay. When this enters the battlefield, you may search your...
No. Say the whole thing. I don't know what card you're talking about. We got to be clear. The audience needs help. The podcast audience needs help. Are you beeping me right now? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hitting the beep button at me. This is a violation. We've been doing this for how long? And I never beeped
to pronounce
at you.
It, you fuck. Okay. When Asmarora Nanomartic, I don't know. What, can you say it again? Say it again.
Asmaranda Martica Diced in a Koldakar.
That's not like, even, I hear you say it. The only thing that comes to my mind is car. You ever watched Harry Potter when they cast this spell? That sounds like you're casting 3 spells in a row and then you're saying car at the end of it.
Asmaranda Martica Diced in a Koldakar. It's great. We started off hot today. Oh, I feel good.
Okay, I'm not pronouncing this time. Enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card named the Underworld Cookbook, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Sacrifice 2 foods, target creature deals 6 damage to itself. Okay, hold on. What is the Underworld Cookbook? Sacrifice 2 foods, target creature deals 6 damage to itself. So that means like mechanically you're not doing the damage, it's the minion just hurting itself.
Yeah.
Okay. What is this card named after, by the way? Like, what a weird... I've never seen a name with that many... whatever. Oh, my God. Okay. I thought this might be worse than Yu-Gi-Oh, bro. I don't think I've ever seen something that bad. The Underworld Cookbook. 1 mana. You can tap, discard a card, create a food token, okay? You can pay 4 mana and tap, sacrifice this cookbook, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so... the whole thing is you discard a card, you play the Asmara, when you play this, you draw the cookbook. Then you shuffle your deck. That gives you have to discard a card for a food token. Like, what? But I guess you're doing like 6 damage multiple times, technically. But then you sacrifice the cookbook and return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. So like that's to get the card you discarded, maybe. I mean, the thing is though, it's like it's a free 3/3. And like there's other ways to get food tokens. Like how much do you really care about the Underworld cookbook? I guess it's not bad. This probably goes into like a black deck that wants to discard a lot of cards, right? Because I've definitely seen that before.
Yeah, and red is known for rummaging, which is like you discard cards to draw cards.
Okay. That's not... Is there a card in Magic during this was like when release was like 0 mana to discard a card?
0 mana discard a card. I don't think so, but there's a really good... In fact, I think it was banned during periods of time that this was legal, but it's legal now. 1 red mana for draw 2, discard 2.
Draw 2, discard 2. That's 1 mana? Okay.
Yeah. Also, let me be really clear up front. This is a Modern Horizons 2 card. That means it was printed for the modern format. It never got time and standard.
I was going to say, like, if a 0 mana 3/3 was printed that also drew an additional card and has the effect of dealing 6 damage to itself, that seems very, very good. Or to like another minion but itself. Or another creature, I should say. In itself is very good. Like, I'd pay a 0 mana 3/3 to discard a card in Hearthstone.
I mean, it's like 0, but you still have to pay the hybrid, right? So it's kind of like a 1 mana. Kind of like a 1 mana 3/3,
yeah.
And you
I did
need
forget
something
that.
else to drive the discarding. Yeah.
1 mana, discard a card for a 3/3. That's still pretty good. I think at Hearthstone I'm playing that. We had a 2 mana.
Most of the cards that make you discard it too provide some kind of value. They create something. The Underworld Cookbook creating a food being an example.
Yeah, with Hearthstone, like we had a 2 mana 4/3, and that card was, I think, for the most part, unplayable because it discarded a card. You'd rather have a better 2. I guess the 4/3 stat line is what made it bad though, because like you didn't. It died to too many other 2-drops, which means like you're just going down 1 card to just lose to the same equivalent cost. If it was a 3/4, it might have been broken. So it's interesting to think about that.
Interesting. What if it was a 4/5? What if it was a Yeti?
2 mana 4/5, discard a card is probably too good.
It's insane.
That's too good.
I mean, the Yeti's insane anyway. You're talking about this card, but in Hearthstone, right? It's exactly that.
Yeah, no, unironically, yeah, except for it's for Warlock, so like it'd be for black. What the hell? Wait, when was that card released? Is that new or old?
This card's been around for a long time. This card's unplayable trash.
Yeah, man, it's so interesting. Like the more I learn about Magic, the more inspiration I realize Hearthstone took from it. Mm-hmm. I think this card's like probably pretty good. Like I think a 1 mana 3/3 is like absurd with an upside. So but hold on. Am I basing this as like this if it was played in Modern Horizons, right? That's what I'm basing this as?
Yeah, in modern, the format would be modern in this case.
Modern has some really absurd cards. I opened a Modern Horizons 3 box and I remember reading some of them and going like, what the hell? So
yeah, that they are. In fact, every Modern Horizons set has kind of broken their own format.
So that means that this would have to be a really powerful card in order for it to see play. Because obviously in Standard, I think it would get played if there's like any card that discards on 1 for 1 mana. If it was a 0 mana, it would be disgusting. Honestly, I have actually no idea. Maybe this is just too weak. Because I feel like that. Why would I? Oh, a 3/3 is so good for 1 mana though, man. Like especially in Magic, because you get all your life back. Like that's one of the downsides of playing the 2 mana 4/3 in Hearthstone is you don't heal them at the end of the turn, or heal them at the end of the turn, I should say. I'm gonna go with like probably bad though. I don't know. I think in Modern Horizons, I don't know if this is really good enough. I'd be shocked if this was like really, really strong. I think I've seen too many good cards. I also feel like in Modern Horizons, there's just the gap between like really powerful cards at like 3 to 4 mana is probably just absurd compared to Standard. So this has to be doing a lot. But I guess it also depends on how often you can get food tokens. Like, God, sacrificing 2 food tokens is like, do you have to pay any mana to sacrifice them?
Do you have to pay mana to sacrifice food tokens? Not with Asmaranda, Marika, Dice, and Oculticar. I'm just showing off now. I know.
It's so funny. You're like, it sounds like you're talking for so long every time you say it.
Watch time is the YouTube Bible. So
that is, you are so right. Okay, now I'll go.
It's the prime directive, bro.
I will go with its weak. I'll go with its weak. I don't know. I don't see it. But also, like, to be fair, and I don't know how powerful Modern Horizons really is because I've never played the format. So, but I'm going to assume it's not good enough.
So, I mean, yeah, and you're kind of diving into the deep end, and it's not really fair because we haven't done a lot of modern work. Modern is a pretty wild format, and one thing about the Modern Horizons sets, like Modern Horizons 2, where this came out, is like every time a Modern Horizons set has come out, it's turned the format upside down, even though it's an eternal format. So the cards in these sets are normally pushed even for eternal formats, which are supposed to be more stable than that. As Miranda Martica Dice in a Coldicard, when it was released, it actually did really well because there's a variety of other powerful like food synergies. Cat oven, some people might remember. I don't know if I've ever shown you Cauldron Familiar. That might be a fun thing for a future video.
I don't think so.
But there were synergies, and it was a really good value mid-range deck because it had a lot of ways to take advantage of the graveyard, a lot of ways to take advantage of discarding things, and it just gave you a lot of options at low price. So it was a very good deck for a while. And the reason it's not really, it's more of a niche deck nowadays, and you almost never see it except in Commander from memers, is that the format doesn't really have a mid-range anymore because the combos are too powerful and the aggros are too powerful. So getting in the middle and gaining incidental value by stocking up foods and sacking 2 foods to deal 6 damage to something is just not really how the format works anymore. Like, if you're going to play a lot of turns, it's probably because you're up against some kind of a control deck that has the tools to stop aggro and sideboards into a way to stop combo. At least that's my understanding of current Modern. But hey, if Asmo is still busto, let me know in the comments, because my understanding just from listening to some podcasts about the competitive side of the format is that this has been pushed out of the format for the most part, and that it's very much like a niche player nowadays compared to all of the more powerful combo decks that are running around. But Asmo did see play. It won a lot of events early on, and people really did adore it in the early days of Modern Horizons 2, which now is from 2021, which like 4 years ago. There's been Modern Horizons 3 since then, like you mentioned, which again just broke everything all over again. All over again. But yeah, so the reason I am actually decent, not perfect, by the way, decent, fun story for the fans at Asmiranda Martica Diced in a Coldicard, is because I had to do Game Nights Live. I was a host for Game Nights Live in Las Vegas, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and this was Jimmy Wong's Commander. So I sit down to this is a fun story. I sit down to our first production meeting, and I had been practicing, like, I was very nervous. This is the first like live thing I've done with that crew. I was really excited for the job. And I was really excited to try it. So we're doing a run through. I'm sitting there with Gavin Verhey, and they're playing the game, and I say the name, and I was really proud of myself. And Jimmy freaking Wong goes, Mardi. I'm like, what? He's like, Mardi. I'm like, okay. It's like he like found one syllable in the freaking middle and he nails me.
Oh my god. So he made you practice because like, now you're self-conscious.
I'm like, yep. It's like, okay, game on. And then in the middle of, you can watch it on the VOD. It's online, Game Nights Live. I flub in the middle of it and I just bail out and I say Jimmy's Commander when I do go to say it on stage. It was so embarrassing, dude. I just flubbed out.
Did you think he did that?
Practice?
Was that your first time hosting it, by the way?
Yeah.
Do you think he did that intentionally just to fuck with you?
Do, because at the time I didn't know him as well as I do now. I didn't know him like I did now. He's a little troll. He likes getting in your, he likes poking you. He likes making, he loves getting one over on you and then having it forever. I think he did that on purpose. That's very funny. That, and it worked too, because I get up on stage. I was so hyped. I was so ready. I was so prepared. I get on stage and I'm like, Asmiranda, Jimmy's Commander.
Yeah.
And everybody looks at me like I'm an idiot.
You know what? To give you some credit, I think I would have done the exact same thing. Like I would have. Honestly, it could have been a running joke there through the entire time if you just kept pronouncing it a different way. But
oh God. Anyhow, I am so glad I got you to try to say that. That made my day. Let's look at other cards that come with other cards and maybe create other make other things happen.
Please nothing like that. Okay, thank God. All right. Doomsday. Wow. What a nice word. 3 black. Sorcery, pay half your life, round it up. Put your graveyard on top of your library. Then remove all but 5 cards of your library from the game. Put the rest on top from your library in any order. Okay, hold on. That's a crazy cool card. In Hearthstone, hold on, let me think of this. 3 mana. We don't have a graveyard, of course, but 3 mana. Get rid of every card but 5, and you get to pick the order you draw them in. Would that be too good?
There's no fatigue, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of like, okay, in Hearthstone with passive mana, if I didn't need the lands anymore, could I win the game after playing this card? Like, obviously, I'm starting on the increment 1 for fatiguing. So I have about like what? If I'm not winning the game in like 2 turns after I play this, I don't know if I'm really winning the game. Because I showed you a card a while ago that was like the Wheel of Death, which is like you remove every card from your deck, and then after 5 turns, you win the game. Like, that's what it is. Almost kind of the same extent here, but obviously in your game, like, you can't draw if you don't have a deck because you just lose. But the problem with that card is it's 8 mana. This is 3. You could set it up so, like, because you could also, you could get back cards that you want again for the 2nd time or 3rd time or whatever, right? If you don't have a way to, like, resurrect it, or if you just want, like, another spell. That is a really interesting card. This is standard. I gotta ask just to make sure, but...
So, it was legal in standard a long time ago. This is a very old card. So if you want to evaluate it for like a standard, you can. I'm definitely going to talk about eternal formats though as well.
God, I feel like this is the type of card that is just like, it's either so broken or it's unplayable. Hearthstone's had a lot of weird effects like this. Like, I don't know if I've shown you like I'm going to say the name. You're going to be like, I've never heard that card in my life. It's a card called Hemet Jungle Hunter. Have I ever showed you that card? Okay,
no.
It's a
no, what the hell?
It's a 6.
What are we talking about?
It's a 6 mana 6/6. It's a legendary. It has the battle cry to destroy every card in your deck that costs 3 or less mana. That card ended up being very good in specific decks because it helped you find your burn just to kill off your opponent, or like specific late game cards that you were looking for. It's actually a really, really good card.
That would be insane in Magic because of lands. It would just like
you're right. Land. You're right. And I think like if it cost 6 in Magic too, like you'd probably have a good enough mana base where you wouldn't care enough. But it was a really fun card to play with. This is what that reminds me of as well. It's just so like getting rid of your deck is such an interesting win condition, but the fact you get to pick it in any order as well, so there's no draw RNG, is fantastic. Like, such a cool thing. So if you need one specific card to win you the game, that's awesome. If you want to leave like a specific card to the end, that's even better. God, I want to say this is like the best card I've ever seen. Like, this is, well,
whoa,
not the best card. Like, obviously you showed me like 0 mana gain 3. So like, that's pretty good. But I think this has so much use cases that I think at some point it saw play and it was pretty dominant. Like, as soon as there's a critical mass of cards that interact with this in a way that you could just win the game, like, it has to be very, very good, right? So I'll go very good. I'm very confident in Hearthstone this would get played.
In Standard, Doomsday was funny. I was around at the time, and the meta, like, this is Weatherlight. This is a very old card. This is in the 90s, right? Yeah, 97. This is very early in Magic days. So I remember when this card was printed. And metas vary. So one of the things I've learned from these comments is people like, no, that definitely happened where I play. Well, back then, the internet hadn't homogenized everything, and there was no online client. So we didn't get to play against people from California. It's not how it worked. So where I was at, the kind of Doomsday things I saw in the Midwest that were pretty fun were very similar to what you said, which is you cast Doomsday, and if you're a burn deck and the opponent's at like 6 life, you just get like 5 burn cards, and that's what's left of your deck.
Like, just like how
yeah. So some people tried that. It was never that good. Doomsday never popped in Standard. It didn't have the tools. But as far as being an Eternal card, yeah, Magic still has these cards, which are worth just always remembering that they exist in Magic, because in every Eternal format it comes up.
Okay, I remember the Oracle.
Yep.
Maniac. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you would win the game instead. Oh, that's so cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Ta-da!
that.
Instead of fatigue, you just win. Where's that in Hearthstone, right?
There is no card like
fun.
that. Well, the only card we have is Mechathune, which I think I've shown you before. But in case you don't remember, that is a 10 mana death metal minion. That's a 10/10. It says that this is, if you have no cards in hand in your deck or your battlefield, you win the game. Like, that's probably the closest we got to that. I think in Hearthstone, because we only have 30 cards, Laboratory might be like too good.
Yeah, probably insanely good. So these cards are just kind of the backbone of what's called Doomsday piles in Legacy, where it still puts up decent results to this day, a very powered format, and can often win the game on the spot. And in Commander, where in CEDH and high-powered tables, Doomsday often means the game is over when it resolves. A pile like what I'm showing you down below, you don't have to read all these, because basically what they say is you draw some cards and you get the mana you need and you win because you have no deck. That's basically what the 4 cards combined do. 2 of those cards are there just to draw cards to make sure that you get the other 3 cards in your hand, so you have no library, and then the other 2 make sure that you can cast them. And it's just called, what they call it is cracking the Doomsday pile. So all they need is to cast Doomsday and have some way to draw 1 card in their hand, and they're good. They win the game. So Doomsday is still considered quite the gamer's card right now. And if somebody casts it against you, it's often assumed the game is going to end. Like, it's over.
Okay.
You're cooked.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So that's a fun little game within a gamer card. It's just too bad it never popped in Standard. Now let's get into some other cards within cards here.
Okay. Gisela? Which one?
Wow. You gave it more tries than you gave Asthma.
Asthma's not a real thing.
Gisela or Gisela is
the
fine.
Broken Blade? What the frick? Her art is terrifying. 2 neutral, 2 white, legendary creature. Flying, first strike, lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you both own and control Gisela and a creature named Bruna the Fading Light, exile them, then meld them into Brisella, Voice of the Nightmares. And that's a 4. She's a 4/3. Okay, I'm guessing Bruna's.
Here she comes.
Brisella's a 9/10. It looks like, based on what the card says.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We got to read Bruna too. So this is from Shadows Over Eldritch Moon. This is from Eldritch Moon, I believe. And this was like this was the gothic horror meets body horror set. So the idea is that this Eldrazi influence is like warping all of these angels and stuff and corrupting them and turning them into monstrosities.
Okay, that's exciting. 5 neutral, 2 white. When you cast this spell, you may return target angel or human card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Flying, vigilance, 5/7. I'm gonna be honest with you, I would play that card just on its own. So what else do you got? that just seems good.
Oh, well, let's see what they turn into.
So you could play Gisela, have her die, then play Bruna, and then you have both of them on the board, and then that means at the beginning of your end step you get Brisella. Okay. Oh,
that's right.
Oh, my God. Okay. Voice of Nightmares. Legendary creature. Flying, first strike, vigilance, lifelink. Your opponent can't cast spells with mana value 3 or less, and it's a 9/10. That is a very interesting card. Your opponent can't cast spells. Okay, so just to get to Brisella, it seems like it's not hard, right? You play Gisela, you go to Bruna on 7 mana, you get her back, and then at the beginning of your end step, you get Brisella, which means unless they actually are able to counter or kill it in that instance, like, it's just, you're getting this effect. Now, this is already pretty late in the game. So if you're getting Brisella out, is the game already over by the time your opponent can't cast spells with value 3 or less? That's also like creatures. I'm gonna remember from my Hearthstone brain the reverse that you go through. So, but like, what if they just have like a big AOE and then like you went through all this for nothing? Now, I'm guessing Brisella doesn't go in your graveyard, right? Is it like a token or is it?
Brisella, I'm trying to find an image for this, and I actually can't find one, which is very depressing for me. So I wish I had the cards here in my house so I could just send you pictures of them. What Brizella is, if you do it in paper, is if you flip over Gisela or Bruna, each is half of Brizella. So you would flip them both over, and then you would put them together, and you would have the voice of Nightmares. And it would be double the size of a normal card because it's two cards combined into one from the back side, which is it's honestly very cool. Okay, here, this is probably the best I can do. This is the back of Bruna. You see what I mean? So you would add the back side of Gisela and turn them sideways, and you'd have this ultra mega monster card on the field, which is really cool to see in paper. It's so cool in paper.
Damn. Oh, that is kind of interesting. It's not an arena, right? This is an arena? Like,
this is in arena.
Do they make it bigger in arena or no?
Not really. Sadly. That's why I couldn't find a good image to show you. I really wanted to find one in paper to be like, look at how freaking huge the card is on the field. And in arena, it's just like another, it's the same size as other card. Highly disappointing. Very frustrating, to be honest.
I mean, card is still cool. I'm trying to think. Okay, hold on. If I'm a Hearthstone, and let's say I'm counting creatures as spells in this case, how broken is that? It's actually really good. A lot of removal is very cheap. So you're kind of putting your opponent in a very awkward spot. If they are a particular deck that has the ability to actually answer this immediately, how good is that? Probably not great enough. Sorry, did you ask the question of does this go back to your graveyard if it dies?
Oh, so if it dies, both pieces go to the graveyard separately.
But
they're two different cards,
but not for Brizella.
But they both go to the graveyard. Yep. You can't reanimate Brizella, Voice of Nightmares. You can reanimate Bruna. That reanimates Gisela. And then at end of turn, make Brizella. But you can't reanimate Brizella just as one creature. You can copy it if you have a way to clone your opponent's creature and you clone a Brizella. Woohoo! That's fun.
I mean, if you're resurrecting Bruna, it's the exact same thing though. You're basically getting it back. Obviously, you don't get it at the turn or the time you resurrect it, but the end step more or less is almost the exact same. Actually, I wouldn't even say it's near the exact same thing because it actually does matter in some circumstances. So, was this in standard? This is in standard, right?
This was in standard, yep.
Oh,
this was Eldritch Moon, Shadows over Innistrad standard.
Can I ask you a question? Was mono red playable?
Was mono red playable? That's a good question. This was during a beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, glorious time in Magic when mono red wasn't always the best thing that you could do. Yeah, this was pre-Amonkhet, which was kind of the resurgence of mono red, and there was some things like a Tarka red, but mono red was not the best thing going on. I don't think even close. It was always tier 2 or worse during this time period.
Okay, then that actually has a chance to get played then. I was worried that if mono red existed, this is just never seen the light of day. Because it's just not. I mean, actually, I don't know. It's interesting because I was 4 for First Strike and Lifelink. That's actually pretty decent. I'm still gonna probably go with it's not good enough. I don't know why. There's a part of me that just believes Brisella is just not by the time you get it out, it's probably just you probably already won the game. That's where my mind's going. Maybe against very specific decks, it's very, very annoying, whatever. But I'll go with I don't think it's that good.
Well, you're right.
Yay!
Yeah, definitely one of the dreams of that format. People love doing it. They still to this day love trying to assemble the Voice of Nightmares, but the card just didn't do it. By 7 mana, you get this out if the opponent has no interaction because they still have till end step to meld. So if they have a 3 mana removal spell and they play it on either your 7 mana creature or your 4 mana creature before the end step, this doesn't happen. Then you're just kind of playing okay cards. Against certain decks, Gisela's not a bad card at all, but it is in every way kind of a Dies to Doomblade thing. It provides no value of its own. So yeah, overall the format just had more powerful things to do when it got into that mode of 7 mana or more, and that was what ran that format, not Brizella, Voice of Nightmares. So you're right. Yes. You're so right. You're sadly right. But
We're
dang,
back.
is it cool. It is so cool to make Brazil
cool.
the voice of nightmares.
It is cool.
And you can do it on Arena, but I really wish it was like 3 times the size
I'm
of
surprised they
everything
did
else
it.
on Arena.
If they did it in real life, like it's such a small touch that would make the game just like that more exciting to play. I'm shocked they didn't.
Yeah, I think it's just a slightly above size card instead of like when you see it in paper, you're just like, oh my God, it happened. Here's a mini game. You've played some standard Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Have you seen, tell me about, like, have you done this?
Say its name. Okay, hold on. Did you? This is Dustmorn?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me read the card first. 1 neutral, 1 green. Sorcery, mill 3 cards, then you may return a creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Exile this card and 2 other cards named say its name from your graveyard. Search your graveyard, hand, and or library for a card named Altanak, the thrice called, and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle, activate only as sorcery. Okay, I don't remember what the fuck Altanak is, so I was gonna say the artwork kind of seems familiar, but because I did open a lot of Dustborn cards because I like the set.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably saw this common hanging
5
out.
neutral. Okay, sorry. Altanak, the thrice called. 5 neutral, 2 green. Legendary creature. Trample. When this becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, draw a card. Okay. Spell or ability. Ability is like a creature ability, I'm guessing. 1.
Can be, yeah. Ability, yeah.
1 green, sorry, 1 neutral, 1 green. Discard this card. Return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and it's a 9/9. Return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Ooh, rampy. Goes rampers. So it's not just sitting in your hand.
Okay. Oh, right, because they have like that weird mechanic in Dustborn, right? Where it's like you... what is the mechanic called where you can like pre-cast something before its mana cost, but it's like delayed? That's that set, right?
I think you're thinking of Plot, and I think that's Outlaws of Thunder Junction, but we all appreciate the effort.
No, but hold on. What's that?
Oh, you're talking about Impending.
Yes.
That's on the Overlords. That's not on Altanak.
Like,
that's on the Overlord.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, listen, you fucking. I knew there was something in this set. I wasn't gonna pretend. Okay, so that means like, well, this is so you could just naturally draw this card, pretty much.
Yeah.
So unless you,
as long as you're filling your graveyard.
God, that is so weird. So that means you need to have 2 say its name in the graveyard, and then you need to have this one as well, and then you need to exile it. Now, when they say exile it, that just means like it could be in your hand. Does the say its name have to be on the battlefield?
The say its names should be in the graveyard because it says exile this card and 2 other cards named say its name from your graveyard. So that's an ability of the card in the graveyard.
Okay, so that means as you're casting this, or this is the third one, you exile this card. So then you mill 3 cards, then you exile this after that has activated because now it's in your graveyard and you can exile it. And then it's like, okay.
If you have 2 other say its names, yeah.
Is it bad? Like the only reason I want to play this is because of like the get a land, like what?
Yeah, you really want to ramp. You really want to somehow get a land into your graveyard and then ramp
you have to,
with Altanak.
Yeah, like I have to envision a world where you're going to be milling enough that this is going to happen consistently, that you're going to be able to get Altanak on board. Because obviously the effect is good, but if you draw this card, like you're also just extremely I think for the most part, discarding a card for 2, like for like an additional 2 mana, is really interesting to get more ramp. Like I'd probably do that pretty consistently if Druid had that in the game. But and Hearthstone, I should say, not in Magic, obviously. This just feels so inconsistent. It's like, is there another class in this game, or not class, color? Sorry, that also mills quite consistently? Because I feel like you need to be able to do this relatively soon. Otherwise, like, what's the point of even? I guess you're paying 2 mana. Sorry, continue going.
Oh, black and blue are pretty good at milling at times with various cards.
God, this one's actually really interesting. Am I evaluating both cards, or am I only evaluating Say Its Name? Because
well, I don't think the cards can really
they can't be on their own.
Would you play them without the other? I guess is a very interesting question. I'm curious what you have to say.
See, there's a chance that I'm just playing Altenac just for the effect. Like, if I saw this in my hand, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd pay 2 mana to get a land on my board and discard this card. Like you're cycling this in some weird way to draw a card from your graveyard to put it on the board immediately. That is a land that'll help you cast another card earlier, which ramping, as we all know, is very good. Like that's a very powerful thing. Say Its Name is like, yeah, it's good if you can consistently mill all copies of it, and then you get this really, really good card out. But how likely are you? If the case ends up being that you're very likely to do that, then obviously Say Its Name's becomes a much better card because you're also pulling up this ginormous beast that your opponent's gonna have trouble answering. But it really comes, like, I think Altenac as a card is unplayable unless you're like cheating it up, right? I think we can all agree with that. So it's like, am I comfortable enough to run this combo in the weird case where, hold on, actually, if I'm searching my library, because you also, like, do you want to run 3 copies of Altenac? I guess you would. That's why the discard effect is so unique here. I think this card's playable, but I also know what standard is in Magic the Gathering. So, like, is this mill green deck playable enough to beat mono red? God, no. But is discarding this card to get an extra mana maybe the jump that you need to get past the point where you can turn the corner? Maybe. So I think this is just bad unless there's a really cool deck I'm just not aware of. But I do like the discard of Altenac, but I will go with bad. I'll go with bad. I just don't like.
Oh no, we had to remember that current red is a thing. Do you remember a review for the newest set, Tarkir?
Yeah.
Remember the Corey Steel Cutter, the equipment that makes a monk every time you cast 2 spells? Yes. You remember that card?
Yes.
So the most recent standard tournament that happened this last weekend, like $50,000 prize thing, invite to Worlds, big spotlight event, right? Over 30% of the field was running that card and Monstrous Rage and just killing people with it so fast.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm sorry if you spend turn 2 on Say Its Name, or if you spend turn 1 getting a land in the graveyard and turn 2 discarding Altenac to put the land on the battlefield, you're already dead. It's over for you. Nice try. And this Altenac being a 9/9 is sweet, but the fact that it doesn't have like reach or anything, or like people just go right over it, they go right around it, they go right through it. It's kind of amazing. I really liked trying to make this card work in standard, but at the end of the day, like most of the time you would pull it off, do the thing, and then die.
Yeah, that seems
standard.
That seems pretty. Wait, so hold on. We were right about the cutter then, right? I remember saying we both thought it was good.
We are right about the cutter. That is probably the best card in the set, and it is currently it is dominant at the moment. It is the meta shaping move, and it's being played in a blue-red deck with a bunch of Storm Chasers talents. You'll remember that card from earlier, the Otter Machine.
Yes. So yes.
Yeah, that's a different video.
Yes.
So yeah, that deck is mean and horrid and is terror. It's terrorizing things.
Oh, nice.
But
nice.
Maybe if we travel back to an older time, some of these quests could be worth it. You know what I mean? Let's start with this one.
Urborg Panther, 2 neutral, 1 black. Summon Night Stalker? What does that mean? Is that like a special thing?
That's its creature type. Its creature type is Night Stalker.
What is the summon before that? Like, it just means it is summoned?
Did they not print that on creatures anymore? No, they don't. Okay, they used to. So every creature used to have summon and then creature type on it. That's old templating. That's how old this card is.
Okay. 1 black, sacrifice this, destroy target creature blocking Urborg Panther. Sacrifice Feral Shadow Breath Stealer and Urborg Panther. Search your library for Spirit of the Night and put it on play as though you just... Okay. Put it on play as though it were just played. Shuffle your library afterwards. Oh my god, I just had like a seizure there. Search your library for Spirit of the Night and put it into play as it... I just... The language is funny because it's like... it's so obvious, but at the same time, I understand why they have to do it. And okay, you're gonna have to explain something as well here.
Oh, of course.
Does
What?
Feral Shadow and Breath Stealer both have their own way of sacrificing, or is it like you need another card to sacrifice them? I guess I'll have to see what they look like.
You need the Panther to sacrifice them. Here is Feral Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, how are you?
It's just a 3-mana 2/1 flyer. That's all.
Okay.
And then here is Breath Stealer.
Okay. How do you sacrifice them? I guess sacrifice. How does the Panther sacrifice the other two?
It's an activated ability of the Panther. So you would activate, if you had all 3 on the field, you would activate Urborg Panther's ability. All 3 would sacrifice, and you would go find the Spirit of the Night.
Okay. What is the Spirit of the Night?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready to meet the Spirit of the Night?
Okay.
All right. I want you to gaze right into its eyes, okay?
Looking. Oh, nice. Oh,
swipe right.
That's nice.
What you got?
That's nice. Spirit of the Night, 6 neutral, 3 black. 6/5 flying, trample, protection from black. First strike when attacking. Spirit of the Night is unaffected by summoning sickness. So what, it has haste?
Yeah, that's they didn't know what to call that back in the day. It's a big epiphany at some point.
Imagine the meeting. Guys, I figured it out.
Charge? Nope. It's not going to be charge. Absolutely not.
Okay. How good is this? 3 mana for a 2/2. Also has this weird sacrifice ability, which could be good. Feral Shadow is a 3 for 2/1 with flying, which could be okay, but this looks like it's pretty old Magic, so I'm not how confident that ends up being. And then you can make Breath Stealer. It's a 3 mana 2/2, but you can make it a 3 mana 4/1.
Well, you can make it a 3/1, and then if you activate it even one more time, it dies.
Sorry, 3/1, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that. God, is this even good? It's like the same problem Altenac has. I don't know. Because you've shown, the thing is, you've shown me older Magic, right? And older Magic has this weird problem of creatures kind of sucked. So this is also a lot of effort for a card that could just get removed. So it's do the individual components themselves carry the weight of Spirit of the Night? Because let's be real here, unless I'm not seeing it, you're not playing Spirit of the Night for 9 mana. There's no shot I'm paying that. So if all 3 of these cards don't do enough on their own, is it even worth running the package? And I'm going to be honest, it does not seem good enough. But there is...
You don't believe in Spirit of the Night?
Let me think this through. Because I don't believe in Spirit of the Night. Listen, if Spirit of the Night was a nicely costed 5 mana guy, then yeah, he's beautiful. But this is in Hearthstone when they print a card that seems very good, but it's just too expensive. And then you're sitting there what is the point of this even in the collection? Because it's never going to get played. And you could be that, what is it, Timmy? That's the name when they want to play big creatures?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then, but what do we know about Timmy?
What do we know about Timmy? Timmy gets wrecked.
Yeah, so that's what that's pretty much what this is coming down to. Now, I think the concept behind this card's cool because it's you play these, I'm going to use quotations here because I'm not sure if I would call these tempo cards because it's they're kind of bad. I don't even know how good a 2/1 flying would be for 3 mana back in the day of this Magic the Gathering. But
would it be when has that ever been good
exactly
ever?
My point. That's what I'm saying. What I mean by that is in Hearthstone, right? If we go back to Classic, a 4 mana 4/5 was killing it. But if you try to play a 4 mana 4/5 now, it's unplayable. So I wonder if back in the day if that was even good enough. I'll go with horrible. There's no way this is playable. This is bad. Unless you could Giga cheat this out even with the components. I just don't think this is playable. Tell me I'm right.
You had to say that, didn't you?
Tell me I'm right.
You had to say that. You had to say that. So Urborg Panther, Feral Shadow, and Breath Stealer are what a waste of 3 Magic the Gathering cards.
Well,
why were they ever printed?
Listen,
why were they ever made?
I said some mean things, but I think you took it too far. I think that was too much.
What? No. Because Spirit of the Night won some games back in the day in a deck that I played and a lot of other people played. In the fledgling internet, we would find these deck lists and play them. Spirit of the Night was the finisher in a deck built around this card.
Okay, I'm going to read this card. And if this says mana cheating, we're going to have a different discussion here, okay? Hold on. Oath of Druids, 1 neutral, 1 green. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls fewer creatures than target opponent, the player may reveal cards from his or her library until he or she reveals a creature card. The player puts that creature card into play and all other reveal cards into his or her graveyard. So we have to have a conversation here then, okay? Because is it Spirit of the Night or is it Oath of the Druids that is actually the good card here?
You see, Spirit of the Night was just the best available thing to smack the opponent to death in the format of the time. And what Oath of Druids was mostly known for was for chaining a card called Spike Feeder. All the text is not important, but Oath decks usually included 2 Spike Feeders and a Spirit of the Night. And what Spike Feeder is like you sack it to gain life. That's it.
Okay.
So every upkeep, if the opponent controlled any creature, you would go ahead and get a Spike Feeder, sack it to gain 4 life. Next turn, go get another Spike Feeder, gain 4 life. Next turn, get a Spirit of the Night, punch them. But now you're almost out of cards. What do? So this card got printed back in the day, which is Gaia's Blessing. Check this out.
Gaia's Blessing, 1 neutral, 1 green. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. Oh. Draw a card when this is put into your graveyard from your library. Shuffle your graveyard into your library. Oh, so you just never lose.
Yeah, you never run out.
That's awesome.
No fatigue. No fatigue ever. Yeah, and you just keep sacking those Spike Feeders to get them again. So I played this in a tournament. It was I remember it. It was a fond memory because I was like a 16-year-old kid who just destroyed every single adult in the area.
That's fair.
Somebody exiled my Spirit of the Night, so I didn't have the win con. So I just kept looping Spike Feeders, gaining 4 life a turn until they
lost.
Ran out of cards. It was like an hour-long game. Everybody was very upset. It's great. This card.
But who do they blame?
The Drew is just so stupidly busted.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny.
So yeah, Spirit of the Night, excellent win con. And you had to say that last thing about cheating it out, didn't you?
I mean, that's what it comes down to often, right?
That's
Who
how it
pays
is.
mana for big dudes anymore, dude? It's just, how do I cheat them out, or how do I ramp so fast that it doesn't matter that I'm paying full mana for it?
Hey, you could get your Panther, your Feral Shadow, and your Breath Stealer and quote cheat it out, right?
That's
how that works, right?
Right. And then what if one of them dies and then you're crying?
All righty. Next sub game. We're gonna play sub games. We're gonna get into the reading.
All right, Triumphant Adventurer, 1 white, 1 black. This is a creature. Death touch. As long as it's your turn, Triumphant Adventurer has first strike. Okay. When Triumphant Adventurer attacks, venture into the dungeon. Oh God. Okay, where's this going?
Do you know what this is? Do you know anything about venture into the dungeon?
I have no idea what this is. I'm very excited though.
Okay. I bet you are. There's a lot of people are turning off the video. Guys, you gotta see this.
Wait,
this is gonna be great.
What is wrong with this?
This is gonna be amazing. Nothing's wrong with this.
Okay.
Just give me a minute, okay?
Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Go ahead.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oops.
Enter the first room or advance the next room. Oh, Tome of Annihilation. Okay, so first you go through Trapped Entry, which each player loses a life. Okay, so hold on. Okay, you're telling me this has to attack just to move forward? Okay, hold on. The ending has to be insane here. Holy shit, what is going on with this card? Okay, then you can pick between each player loses 2 life unless they discard a card, or discard a card and sacrifice an artifact, a creature, and a land. Okay. If you went for the Veil...
That sounds painful.
You can go for each player loses 2 life unless they sacrifice an artifact, a creature, or a land. They all both inevitably go to create the Atropel, a legendary 4/4 black god horror creature token with death touch. You're telling me this guy has to attack 3 times just for a 4/4 black god horror creature with death touch? Okay.
What I'm going to tell you is that's one of your options.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, you get a choice of what dungeon to enter. Here's another one you could choose.
Are these just like off to the side ready for you to do this? Like, where are these cards?
They're just around. Don't worry
Lost
about it.
Mind of what? Fandelver? Okay,
Yeah.
Scry 1. Then you can create a 1/1 red goblin creature token or create a treasure token. Oh my god, what is this? Put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Or target creature gets -4/-0 until your next turn. And then they all inevitably go to draw a card. Okay, that one. God. Okay. Okay, there's another one, right? I think I saw a third one.
Damn it, you're right. So if you don't like either of those, you can do this one.
Oh god, there's so many here. Okay. You gain a life, then you scry 1, then you can create a treasure token, or you can make it so target creature can't attack until your next turn. Then you scry 2, then you can pick between exile the top 2 cards of your library, you may play them. Oh, okay. Create 2 1/1 black. Why the fuck would I ever create 2 1 black skeleton creature tokens? Wait, hold on. With the exile top 2 cards, do I have to pay the mana still?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, now I understand why you would maybe want to take the black skeleton. Okay, and then you could demine for scry 3, and then you go to the Mad Wizard's Lair. Oh, I can't wait to see this. Draw 3 cards and reveal them. You may cast one of them without paying its mana cost. That's it. So I have to attack.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And that's not even considering the first attack. So hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 times. 7 times.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what's wrong?
What the fuck?
What's wrong?
Why? What? Why? What? And
Yeah, analyze the card,
so
bro.
okay, let's go. Okay, if Triumphant Adventurer dies while you're in the dungeon, okay, and I play for some odd reason, I'm running a second Triumphant Adventurer. Do I get to start where the other one died, or do I have to go from the very beginning?
I really appreciate this question because something I have to share with you in evaluating this card is that venture into the dungeon, as you can tell, probably because of the amount of work put into the 3 extra cards that come with every venture card, is a major mechanic of the set, which means there are a lot of cards that venture into the dungeon. All of them, you can assume, are at a slightly worse than average rate. They're not, you're not going to get like a 3/3 for 2 that also ventures into the dungeon, because that would be crazy. But a good example here is like Precipitous Drop. This is a quote-unquote aura removal spell that weakens a creature, and when it enters, you venture into the dungeon. So to answer your question, when you venture into the dungeon, you must choose your dungeon. So if you have no open dungeons, you choose your dungeon. Then what room you're in that dungeon, every time you venture into a dungeon from that point onward, you continue to venture through that dungeon. So if your Triumphant Adventurer attacked, then died, and then you cast Precipitous Drop, which says venture into the dungeon, you pick up in the room that you left off until you complete that dungeon. When you complete that dungeon, you get to select a new dungeon again. Any questions?
Oh my god, this is okay. No, okay. What year was this printed?
This is pretty recent. This is 2021 for Magic. For Magic years, that's pretty recent. Okay, so and this was legal and standard.
There is a set, you were there, called Showdown in the Badlands for Hearthstone. That set has a mechanic called Excavate in it. And the reason I bring this up is because it's almost the same concept here. But the difference is you play a understated minion to an extent and some spells that the classes that can Excavate got for a card that is generated that is often very good. And the thing about excavating is the more you excavate, the better the excavate rewards get, as well as how expensive they get. But then on top of that, for your final excavate for the classes that can do it, you get a very powerful legendary. You only have to excavate 4 times to get that really powerful legendary. And you're telling me in 2021 Magic the Gathering that I'm going to play Triumphant Adventurer to make each player lose 1 life, or scry 1, or you gain 1 life, No.
All that and you think it's bad?
Yes, I had to reread that real fast while you said that. I
don't know. Is that a free resource? Is it free?
No, it's not free. You have to play these fucking cards. Let me read this drop card. Hold on. Chant creature, when precision drops enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon, enter the first room or advance to the next room. Chant creature gets -2/-2. It gains -5/-5 instead, as long as you've completed a dungeon. Like, cool idea. Like, again, I like the game. We've talked about this before. I like the game inside the game. It's like my favorite thing in the world. I love doing that kind of stuff. But dude, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? Unless you're not showing me a card that is just making these cards so much better. Because I'll give you an example with the excavate mechanic, for example. They have cards like, if you excavated twice, do this effect. And usually that effect is very good. For example, there's one that's like transform all enemy minions into 1/1 Murlocs. Right? Like that's a very powerful effect. I think it's like a 3-mana card. It could be the difference of you winning or losing the game. You don't have any of those kind of effects, as far as I can tell, with this kind of like enter the dungeon mechanic. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say this is bad. Cool concept though. I do like the idea of going into the dungeon while you're playing a game of Magic the Gathering, but if I think about it logically, it's just not going to play well. So
yo, if you want to craft some cards, we can do a video where it's Magic, but every card ventures into the dungeon.
Oh,
that might be an experience.
Is that standard? See, that
it's not current standard. This did rotate.
You can cut this in the video.
Not in standard.
You can cut this in the video if you want, but I've been recently, now that I've done a lot of games in Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, sorry, I've done a lot of these weird ass formats. I've started to do alternate win condition formats. So rather than killing your opponent, it's like first one to fill their deck with 60 cards because you start with 30, right? Like that's an example. One of them could be like Magic the Gathering, but like you win if you complete the first dungeon. Like that's how I would do it. I wouldn't care about like every card completes the dungeon or whatever. I think it would be cool if it's like that's your actual win condition.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And maybe it would have to be the Dungeon of the Mad Mage because it's the big one.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Regardless, we can worry about that later. Yeah. Final verdict. This card's absolutely horrible. These cards are absolutely horrible.
So from a standard standpoint, you're right. And it was kind of very panned. This was the first time that Magic released a Dungeons and Dragons set. Although they were owned by the same publisher, Wizards of the Coast, for so long, the two had never like crossed over, even though they had a lot of player base in common. So they made Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, a D&D set for Magic the Gathering, and it was highly based around this venture mechanic, and it was one of the weakest sets Standard had seen. The sets that came before it were so much better, like Kaldheim and Strixhaven, that basically Adventures in the Forgotten Realms was kind of a dud of a set for a very long time. And while it had some standout cards here and there, even rotation didn't help it that much. And Venture was never really taken seriously in Standard, which is a shame. But Wizards wasn't done. You see, we have digital-only cards, my friend.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you know that. And we also tried our hand at buffs. This is in the very early days of Alchemy. Okay. Wizards decided to, in the Alchemy format on Arena, buff some Venture cards. Let's see if the new Triumphant Adventurer is up to your liking.
Okay, 1/1 black. That touch, as long as it's your turn, Triumphant Adventurer has first strike. When Triumphant Adventurer attacks, venture into the dungeon, into the first room, or advance to the next room. Isn't it the same thing? I guess
it is. I showed you the wrong card.
Okay.
It's fine.
That's very funny.
Yeah, the one you should look at should have a little A up in the left corner. That means it was Alchemy adjusted.
1 white, 1 black. Death touch. As long as it's your turn, Triumphant Adventurer has first strike. When Triumphant Adventurer attacks, venture to the dungeon. So, sorry, it's just a 2/1 now instead of a 1/1?
Yeah, it's a 2/1 now.
Unironically, though, the difference of it being a 2/1 to a 1/1 is actually pretty impressive. Like, that is... Just kidding. It's fucking... I think it's still absolute garbage. So,
they also updated Precipitous Drop.
Wow, what does it do now? Enchant?
Oh, it's the same. It costs 1 less.
2 mana to enter the dungeon. Okay. Which I guess depending on which one you're doing could be fine. I think we're just listen, bro. I want to like it's cool. Like okay, you did. It's like when you're it's like when your kid shows you like I don't have a kid yet, and you don't have one yet either. But like
nope.
I imagine
we don't know what we're talking about.
I imagine it's like when they show you like their picture and like, look what I did today at school, and you're like, wow, that's gonna go on the fridge. That's the same vibe I get for this set, and it's like, this is really cool, but unfortunately it's just not that good. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I don't think this did literally anything in Alchemy, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people really liked it. I also feel like in an online medium, like people would be much more willing to do this kind of effect because you don't have to remember where you are in the dungeon. So maybe that's more of a reason to play it, but
I mean that does help. I will definitely say that helps.
Yeah, I think it's still bad though. I don't think this is doing anything. So
okay. So
oh no.
This was a different time in Magic. They haven't done this in a very long time. They might do it again someday, but they decided to have a set championship in Alchemy around the time. I think they were trying to help the format because the format was still pretty new. And they made these adjustments, and they had a set championship in Alchemy with a bunch of pros playing for a lot of money. And the winning deck played these cards. And Alchemy at the time was a bigger and more powerful format than Standard.
How did he?
So, yeah, these venture cards won after the adjustments, won a big championship.
How did he? Okay, were his opponents just bots or?
No, it was like they were there. It was a very legitimate battle. The videos are on YouTube. I think it's the Alchemy Kamigawa set championship, and the winner was somebody I know, Eli Cassis, really good dude, and. It was a pro team that actually built this black-white venture deck and tried out the new cards with the Alchemy buffs, and it was the deck in Alchemy for a while. These adjustments actually made the free value of the dungeons and put it over the top. It was just like a black-white grind you out strategy.
Interesting. Okay.
I know. It was kind of crazy.
I kind of missed that.
Now, by default, they almost always chose one dungeon. Do you want to guess what dungeon it was?
Let me look.
He really doesn't.
I'm gonna go with maybe Dungeon of the Mad Mage, just because you get a free card and you get to draw 3. Like it's the only one that's like very consistently good. So let's go with Mad Mage.
It was the Lost Mine of Phandelver. They did that one almost every time because if you did it 4 times, you got up a card.
Oh my.
Doesn't that sound terrible? It does, right? It sounds terrible.
You guys.
And it was,
oh my God.
And it was only good in Alchemy and only for this like couple of month time period while these adjustments happened. But it happened. It's Alchemy. Alchemy is a part of Magic history, and your comments will not convince me otherwise.
Okay.
They're mad. They're going to be so mad I brought that up. Don't worry. They're on your side. Dungeons went so well that the next summer, Wizards of the Coast released Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, which is a Commander design product that also became legal in Eternal formats in Magic like Vintage and Legacy. They thought the dungeon thing was so great, they brought something new.
Oh God. White Plume Adventurer, 2 neutral, 1 white. When this enters the battlefield, you may take initiative. You take the initiative. What does that mean? Like you take over.
Great question.
It's your turn now?
You have the initiative. That's what that means.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, so this is a great example of reading the card, explaining the card. When you take the initiative, you enter, no matter what dungeon you might have been in before, assuming that you're in one, you enter a brand new place, a brand new dungeon. And you start at the top, no matter where you were anywhere else dungeon land. And that is called the Undercity.
So this card can't interact with the other dungeons.
Correct. You cannot enter this dungeon unless you venture into Undercity, which is part of the mechanic that happens when you take the initiative.
Okay.
Basically, you only get here with the initiative.
At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you untap a creature you control. If you completed a dungeon, untap all creatures you control instead. Okay. Well, it's a 3-mana for a 3/3, so that's not horrible. You can't enter this dungeon unless you venture into Undercity. Okay. Search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Okay, that's actually not bad. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on a target creature or scry 2. Okay, and then you get to pick between target player loses 5 life. Goad target creature. What does goad mean?
That's a great question. So goading a creature, please remember, designed for commander. You choose a creature that an opponent controls. It has to attack next turn, but it cannot attack you.
Oh, okay. I like the mechanic. That's kind of cool. Or you can create a treasure token. Then you can pick between drawing a card or creating a 4/1 black skeleton creature token with menace, and then Throne of the Dead 3. Reveal the top 10 cards of your library. Put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Gains hexproof until your next turn, then shuffle. Okay, well, at least this one's got some sauce to it.
There's still more unwritten you have to know about the initiative before I can let you start trying to evaluate. Okay, it's very important.
What else am I missing?
So the initiative, again, also designed for commander, is something akin to the Monarch. When as you can see here, this is like the card you would bust out along with this Undercity dungeon when you play this in commander. So this says whenever one or more creatures a player controls deal combat damage to you, that player takes the initiative. And then whenever you take the initiative and at the beginning of your upkeep, you venture into Undercity. So introducing the initiative to the game means now if your opponent punches you, they enter their own Undercity.
And not every player has to have like the initiative card, right? Like as soon as one player starts it, then like that's a mini game in the game now.
Yep, that is a mini game in the game for all the players. All the players interact with the one initiative.
Okay, and this is only for commander and I'm gonna call them
and legacy and vintage.
Sorry, I'm so sorry for the vintage and legacy players
and pauper.
I'm so sorry, guys. Like I care about you as well. I swear.
You really should.
Okay, what? I'm gonna base this off commander, okay? Because I think commander is like a good place to actually look at this because it's like a game in a game, right? And I like that. I like the fact that there's like this, like attacking gives you the initiative. That means you can go through the Undercity, which is kind of fun, and then it gives you some really good incentives to keep on attacking. Like there is a reason for you to want to do it, which is cool, and that is awesome. I also think like the concept of the dungeon and how it interacts 3 other players is really cool because you also get your own, and it's not like someone can ruin the path that you were going to go down. I think that's like a really cool idea. I actually have no idea if this is good in commander. The problem with this though is like, is this really fast enough? I feel like you kind of need people to lean into the concept of like this is happening in your game. I almost feel like every player has to be like, okay guys, this is kind of like the fun thing we're going to be doing today for today's pod. I don't need you to just absolutely ruin the game in one go with like your insane combo that you're going to do in commander. So that is like, and again, that is the fundamental problem with this, because from a design perspective, it's like, this is really cool. Like if they did something like this in Hearthstone, where it's like you want to attack specific things or like your opponent with your creatures, and that's an incentive to, because then you get to go through further in the dungeon. That's awesome. But gamers, card game players specifically, are going to try to win the game. So is that playable in any of these formats? I don't know. Pauper is actually really interesting because this does give you like inherently value for taking the initiative and going through the dungeon. So maybe that's actually good enough in that format. I'm going to base it off the commander though. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I'm also going to share that because this was a major mechanic in the set, that there are a plethora of common and uncommon and rare cards that introduce the initiative at various costs. And like the previous version, these cards are slightly above rate for, you know, what they would normally do.
Yeah, so in Pauper, that seems really good then. Like that just seems like a fun thing to be doing. I don't know. I just feel like in Commander, it's not good enough. Again, it makes me sad. I really think you need the people around you to be like excited to play for this. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not giving card gamers enough credit, and like they would play into this. But I can't tell you the amount of times I want to do something fun with my opponent in Hearthstone, and they're like ignoring it. So I just don't see it. I think it could be fun next time I go see you and to Commander. Like this is something you could focus on. I think that's kind of interesting. But like again, you need to kind of have this preemptive like agreement amongst everyone in the pod. Like, hey guys, this is what we're doing today. Please don't just fucking murder me. Smile. And I think that's what it comes down to. So I'm gonna say unfortunately it's bad.
Okay.
In Commander specifically.
Okay. Understood. The initiative is just based on the value of the Undercity as a dungeon compared to the others is inherently busted. The amount of value you get from it is crazy.
Okay.
It's absolutely crazy.
Okay.
And then I think the reason it's not played as much as it could be in Commander is because of the mechanics, because you have to bring your initiative and each person has to have an Undercity, and you kind of you were there. Not everybody, not only are people not really want to agree all the time to care about venturing into the dungeon, because not everybody loves sub games. Some people don't want to do it when their deck is of appropriate power to benefit from it, and then others just have decks that aren't appropriate power anyway and just crush you while you're messing around in the Undercity.
Yep.
So there are definitely problems with it, but I would say it is still one of the more powerful things if you are going to play any kind of like a creature-based strategy in Commander. The Undercity is very legit, and this card I showed you, White Plume Adventurer, is a very good card. The ability to untap on each opponent's upkeep to untap something or multiple things can do a lot for you in Commander. You can untap mana dorks, you can use activated abilities over and over, you always have defenses. But evaluating whether or not something is good or not in Commander is a very weird thing to do, because Commander is so wide.
Yeah,
it's so wide. Like there's so many different Commander games. What's funny about the initiative is it broke those other formats. It broke Legacy. It broke Pauper. It destroyed them. And cards like White Plume Adventure here, which was the cheapest way to introduce the initiative, this is banned in Legacy.
Oh, okay.
It is banned. It was way too good. And in Pauper, a whole bunch of initiative cards are banned. The initiative in 1v1 was gross, disgusting, and made people absolutely angry because Commander invaded their play space. Oh
my God. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Like venture into the dungeon was barely a mechanic. Initiative just shattered it, which is kind of what do you think? Does that surprise you?
I mean, it's based on the Undercity that doesn't. Because like I said, like it does seem like you're actually getting a lot for playing it, and each one of the steps actually seems very good.
I don't hear your voice.
What? Hello? I'm speaking.
Hello?
Hi. Hello?
Did I break you?
Hello? Oh no.
You got broken by the initiative?
Oh, Brad, it's this video. CGB. Hello, you can hear me?
I hear you now. Well, like I said, what do you think of that? And then I heard nothing. Were you just staring into the void?
No, I was speaking. I was. I swear. I was speaking. It's on the recording.
Nice. Okay.
What was I going to say?
We'll fix it later.
It does not surprise me because of how good each incremental step looks like in the dungeon. Like it just seems good. So, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's cool.
Dude, 5 life to the face when you're already aggressive. I think that the other part of I think I read the Undercity like 10 times and the initiative and still didn't get how it played until I actually used it. Because if the opponent doesn't have a board presence, if they're just on the back foot, if they're not able to attack you, then you keep getting another level every upkeep, which is different from venture. Venture requires you to do something to continue venturing into the dungeon. But on every single upkeep, you get the next room for free if the opponent doesn't take the Undercity away from you by dealing combat damage or by playing a card that takes the initiative.
I agree. I actually very much agree.
So that's kind of crazy. I mean, just lose 5 life is such a huge chunk in 1v1. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
I would agree.
So, we got one more.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wizards of the Coast learned all of their lessons. Of course they did. No irony. They looked at what happened with Venture into the Dungeon. They looked what happened into the Initiative. And they said, you know what? We've got a set coming out that we expect to be the biggest of all time called Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And we're going to build a new mechanic called the Ring Tempts You. Have you seen anything to do with the Ring Tempts You?
The first time I played with Voxy, when we did like a draft, the Lord of the Rings set was there. So I have played with it. I literally could not tell you what it does. Like, I don't remember what it does.
Well, I mean, that was a draft, so you probably didn't have any rare cards because that's how limited works. So let's start you with this.
Okay. Call of the Ring, 1 neutral, 1 black. At the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life if you do draw a card. Okay, you're going to have to go through the steps of tempting you. I know there's like 80. No, not, I want to say 8. Okay, no, there's 4. Okay, never mind. So the ring is, your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. And then when you tempt it again, you get whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, and then discard a card. And then when you tempt it again, you get whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. And then when you tempt it again, whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. And then I'm assuming when you tempt it again, you go to the very top.
Actually, once you max your ring, you're maxed out. You're done. You get those 4 abilities, but you don't add.
Okay, so these are cumulative. They're not like you only get one of whatever one you're at when you're tempt the ring. Like, so if I'm on the 3rd one, I also get the 2 above it. Am I speaking English? Hello? Can you hear me?
So yeah, it went silent again.
Okay,
right there for a minute.
What the is Discord okay?
Yeah, Discord doesn't like us.
I'll have to restart the call after this. I said, like, if I'm on the 3rd step of tempting the ring, I also get 1 and 2. Like, it's cumulative. Like, you get.
Yep.
All, okay.
It's cumulative.
Okay.
Yep. When the ring tempts you, it's cumulative.
Seems good. Hopefully. Please.
Seems good.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the card there? What do you think of Call of the Ring? You think people use this? Now, this was not a standard legal set. It was alchemy legal, which is kind of funny, but it was also legal in modern.
At the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. 2 mana to do this. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life, and if you do draw a card. Okay, so hold on. You're gonna have to explain. Mm-hmm. So you play as a ring bearer. You pick a creature as your ring bearer. If that creature dies, and I pick another creature as my ring bearer, do I have to start the ring tempting thing all over again? Or
no?
So that stays what it is. It never goes back to what it is. Okay, that's kind of nice.
Yep, you don't de-escalate the ring.
Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life if you do draw a card. That's a very good card. I'd do that. 2 mana.
On top of that, whenever the ring tempts you, you choose your ring bearer, and you can choose the same ring bearer if you want to.
Oh.
So you don't have to pick a different creature every time. You could just keep choosing the same thing and still draw cards.
Oh, okay. That seems like a good card. I like that card. I mean, this isn't standard, you said? Okay.
Not standard.
Okay. I mean, stonks go way up. Mono red doesn't exist. We're so back. Okay, I'm in. I like Call of the Ring. I'm sure there's more cards that interact with this, not just this one, I'm assuming, but
oh yeah, there's dozens and dozens of cards that make the ring tempt you. You can have a 1 mana red spell that does 2 damage to any target that makes the ring tempt you. You can have a blue spell for 1 blue, draw a card that makes the ring tempt you. They printed it on frickin' everything in this set. They probably printed it on the tokens that come in the back of the pack. You know,
okay.
It's everywhere.
I got you. Okay. Is this the only card you're going to show me for this mechanic, or am I going to?
This was the card I most wanted you to evaluate and see what you thought of the mechanic. I can show you more cards. It's just assume a bunch of Magic cards that you've played before that also say the ring tempts you.
Okay, on them. Okay. I thought there was going to be like a ginormous payoff for this or something. I think this card's very good. Like, even with, as long as you have a creature, I would gladly spend 2 life to draw another card. So okay, that's just. It's like a warlock hero power that I only have to pay 2 mana for once, as long as I have a creature, which seems very good. So I'm good for that. And you get the benefit of the ring, which seems very good.
I guess I'll show you one more card.
Okay. Hey, Frodo.
Yeah, Frodo.
Sauron's Bane. 1 white, legendary creature. You could spend white or black twice. If Frodo is a citizen, isn't he always a citizen? It becomes
Yes.
a halfling scout with base power and toughness 2/3 and lifelink.
Now it's not a citizen anymore.
Oh,
You'll see.
Okay. Then 3 black. If Frodo's a scout, it becomes a halfling rogue. With whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game if the ring has tempted you 4 or more times this game. Otherwise, the ring times 2. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game if the ring has tempted you 4 or more times. Dude, that's fucking sick. What a cool little win condition to have in the side of the game. And it fits the flavor so much of Frodo. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's actually really well made. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Why didn't they make this for standard? I feel like it would have been like the most popular set of all time.
I think they would have done it today. Now they make everything for standard, but I think at the time they were being careful with Universes Beyond. It is kind of a shame because I think everybody would be much more excited about Lord of the Rings in standard than some of the other sets being made for standard. But
what do you mean?
Here we are.
What sets in particular are they not excited for?
I think that people are. So Final Fantasy, it was said on the earnings call, is already the best-selling Magic set of all time, according to pre-orders only.
Nice.
Which is crazy. But I think that people have opinions about Marvel. I am going to share some in another video we're going to make some point. I'm going to share some information about the Marvel thing that's gone down that I really want you to react to.
Wait, is there controversy?
But that's a different video.
Is there controversy in my Wizards of the Coast? Like, what the hell?
That's a different video, my friend.
Okay, I'm sorry. Regardless of Frodo, Call of the Ring's a good card. I actually think Frodo might be playable. I'm not sure though. I don't know enough about those other formats to really give you like a concrete, like this is obviously good. I just don't know what's going on over there. Seems good though. Seems fun. I actually really like the concept of it.
Yeah, it's a fun mini game, and it's fun in Lord of the Rings Commander. It did not make any waves in Modern. Just keeping a creature on the board and being able to keep a 2-mana enchantment on the board. The big risk is like if something happens to your creature, your 1-mana creature, and then like you never draw a card from this is really bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
if you don't have a
really
creature,
bad.
it's horrible. Yeah. It's so bad.
Yeah. And I think people were really excited about this at first because there is kind of the dungeon aspect of free value. And there's a lot of good 1-mana creatures in Modern, for sure. So when you play Call the Ring, the idea of untapping with creature doesn't seem foreign. It happens in a lot of games, but it was just too much for too uncertain of a reward. And it's very bad when you are behind because while there isn't mono red, the threats are potent. The Modern creatures usually hit you for 3 damage at a time, as opposed to the 1 and 2 mana creatures in Standard. So getting your life chunked made, Call the Ring, just not that good. And the ring in general has stuck primarily to being a commander mechanic, I would say. I think that the fact that it caps and is tied to a creature really affects it. Because with the dungeon, you can get benefits outside of whether or not you have a creature anymore, and it keeps going. It keeps going. But if you have a deck with like 12 ways to get the ring to tempt you, only 4 of them are relevant. The rest are just awkwardly priced cards that could be better.
Yeah, but you're playing them for like redundancy purposes, right? Like that's what it comes down to, because you want to make sure you're tempting the ring as often as you can.
Yep. Yeah. And the payoff would have to be worth it. I think of it when you drew a card and didn't discard a card, it would be absolutely busted. They actually did put a lot of safeguards on it, but it is fun. Maybe we'll play some Lord of the Rings Commander sometime, or maybe even some 1v1 Lord of the Rings and live in the world of the ring tempting you. I hear it was really good in Limited, which is what you played it in as well.
I couldn't tell you if it was good. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. I think Foxy said it was good. I'd have to double check with her. I'm not sure.
What's your favorite mini game here in Magic the Gathering of what you saw today? Is it Azmaranda, Marduk, Dice, and Nikolakar?
Shut the fuck up.
Thank you for watching or listening to the Covert Go podcast. Remember to use the promo code CGBPOD at checkout on CoolStuffInc.com to show that you love the show. Also, subscribe on your audio platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and iHeartRadio. Leave a review with 5 stars, of course, for yours truly to help grow the show. Thank you for watching, and as always, you're cool.